What has Spain got to do then, do you think, if they're going to be convincing in the next round, the quarterfinals, and look like a team that can go on and win this tournament?
First of all, they kept another clean sheet record.
Which is 609 minutes, and 6 successive clean sheets,
so that gives a lot of confidence. They are a very solid team. Yeah, maybe we didn't see the best outcome of the attacking players. We've seen sometimes Jamal not making the right pass, where we are used to always to make the right decision up front. But I see a team very solid, very compact. They all play together. Again, the subs made the difference, which in this kind of tournaments is very important. So I see a team that is growing, even though maybe tonight we didn't see at their best, but still they got it.
Well, tell me what it'd be like back home in terms of the reaction to that. Because I'm just thinking, if England got through with a performance like that, there'd probably be a bit of negativity around it, wouldn't there? And a sense that perhaps this team isn't going to go all the way.
I don't think there will be any negativity comments around the team, because you know, we know that Portugal, they're a very good team, and it was not going to be easy and just win 3-0 like against Austria in the last round, but they compete very well.
And you're the European champions, and you've won this more recently.
Yeah, I was going to say that you won the Euros.
So we have some confidence. Yeah.
But I think for Spain, they've got such a young team, but they're already winners. So I think that's a big thing. I think it's more for Portugal. I think Portugal will be very disappointed because they've caught Spain not at the best this evening. And I think they've let Spain off the hook. I think Portugal lacked a little bit... Both teams lacked a bit of intensity and a bit of endeavour, I thought, this evening. But Spain have found a way to win the game. So you'd expect Spain as one of the favourites. I still think Spain are one of the favourites to go and win the competition.
And as for Portugal, you've already alluded to the fact that this is an incredibly talented crop of players, and actually some of them will potentially be heading towards, you know, the end of their World Cup life, if you like, and might not make the next one. But this is a team that could still go on and achieve great things in a European Championship in a couple of years' time. What do they need to do with whoever it is that takes over?
Well, for me, it's the start of a new era for them. When you lose a player like Ronaldo, I think maybe some players might have felt in the shadow of Cristiano, which is normal, you know, what he's done in the game. So for some of them players there, now it's their time to go and be the main man for Portugal. Cristiano's been here for so long, and it's a new opportunity for some of the more senior players to take that responsibility, but for younger players to come through. So I think as disappointed as they'll be now with going out to competition, I think this is the start of a new era for them.
That connection, that togetherness, they seem to be just flowing so well, and they've got great subs that come on and make a huge difference and impact. But yeah, for someone like Ronaldo, you see him there, just the disappointment there of just walking so you just see him so sad, and the emotion, yeah, and what he's given.
I think he absolutely lives and has dedicated his whole life to football, and he loves it so much. He's got a mentality which I've never seen before in any football player. And
in what way? I mean, you're obviously a very close teammate, so give us a little insight into how different he is. Because at that level that you were playing, you'd imagine everybody.
I think when you play at the top level, you have a certain mentality to play at the top level, and his goes beyond that in terms of how he wants to win. He wants to play every game. He wants to score in every game. He wants to break every record, and he's no, you know, he doesn't hold back in saying that. And he believes he's the best player ever. Arguably, for a lot of people, he is. So yeah, I think he's had such a career.
OK, just confirmation there that Spain join Morocco, France, Norway and England in the last 8. They will find out their opponents in the early hours of the morning. It will be either the co-hosts USA or Belgium, who will meet in Seattle. On Tuesday, Argentina face Egypt and Colombia face Switzerland in the last 2 of the last 16 fixtures. Do you mind who you meet in the next round?
No, it's going to be a tricky one. Of course, USA, they are the host, and to be fair, I've been very surprised. They have a very good team, and they are playing some good football. So, yeah, let's see. Because Belgium, we thought it was over against Senegal, and they did a great comeback.
Yeah. But the USA home crowd, does that excite you, the prospect of that one?
That would be a great game.
Yeah. I think probably the neutral would quite like to see that.
Definitely. I watched their opening game and it was brilliant. The crowd, the atmosphere, their energy, intensity, and yeah, they've done brilliant.
And they can relax knowing that if anything happens, they can always get a red card suspended. I'm only joking. It'll be interesting to watch that one tonight. Let's go back, shall we, and have a little look then at some of Spain's better moments, and certainly Mikel Merino gave them the moment to smile about the most tonight.
Yeah, we were speaking a little bit in the hydration break where it was a bit slow, and I think in this action, you know, Merino has this great striker mentality. He scores important goals, and here he plays the free kick very quick, and then as soon as Ferran Torres receives the ball, he sees Merino in the space, and it's such a great finish in front of the goalkeeper. And here we see the Portugal players, they switch off, and then as soon as you play the ball, the movement is very fluid and great composure in front of the keeper. Maybe here Ruben Diaz could go and tight a little bit on Ferran. He arrives late, and as soon as the ball goes through, it's a very good goal.
I thought Torres was excellent when he come onto the pitch, and the changes Spain made the difference. So yeah, this is patterns of play which Spain 1-2 touch. This is when Spain at the best. They're very difficult to get close to. For a defender, you don't know whether you want to get tight or you want to drop off because you have runners running behind you. And this is a typical Spain goal where, you know, you see all the patterns, the movements, all the excitement which they play with, and the fluidity which they play with. It was all evident in this goal.
Yeah. That's what they were crying out for the whole game.
But the mentality as well to get the ball, because maybe in the 90th minute you say let's cross it in the box, but the way, you know, you want to play quick, you want to create a chance, and Ferran Torres normally he has been playing a striker number 9. He came off on the left wing, and I think I agree with you, Wayne, that he put on a different energy, different pace, and was a great turn. It's not easy to receive half space and then control and a great ball through the space.
And you've waited to go down and concede a goal to then have those opportunities and crosses in the box, and I still question that maybe the substitutions from Martinez. And
was he waiting on for extra time coming, do you think, to make those substitutions? Was that what he was looking at?
Time waits for no man, does it?
It was weird that Ramos didn't come on, because the impact he had, we spoke before the game, and just not having minutes.
It's the gamble, isn't it? We've seen Spain make some really good subs, and that really helped them. And that's the gamble you take, whether you try and get to extra time to bring your players on and you know, reorganise your team, and unfortunately for Portugal, it just didn't pay off.
We talk about the perfect time to score, and actually for Spain, if you're going to have a 1-0 in a World Cup knockout game, that's exactly when you want to do it, because, you know, had they scored earlier in the half, Portugal might well have made a little bit more positivity, and those changes might have come.
Well, I was praying it was in, you know, normal time for everyone. They don't have to stay up any longer. But yeah, it felt like they needed that to happen. And the subs made a huge difference, that intensity, that clinical edge. But yeah, for them to score in that time just gives Portugal very limited minutes then to obviously create any opportunities, which they did at the, you know, if that had gone in, obviously that would have been amazing, and we would have been praising Martinez for the substitute he had made, but it didn't work out in the end. And actually for Spain, it was a huge advantage for what they did in the subs, making a huge impact, that team togetherness and who he brought on in the right areas at the right time.
You're loving Lamine Yamal, aren't you? You keep oohing and purring and ahhing every time. He's completely happy, isn't he, to kind of run in behind, which you're enjoying. He's
just so exciting to watch, and he hasn't had a lot in the game, but I just like his willingness to run in behind. I think with a lot of young players now, you see them come to the ball, wanting the ball to feet all the time and to show the tricks and the skills, but I think just the other side of it as well, and, you know, coming short, then running behind, and yeah, it just hasn't had that pass through to him, but yeah, he's just so exciting. I love watching him.
Spain have had their chances, and they've looked good. What are Portugal doing at the moment to frustrate them?
I think they're defending quite well, getting numbers behind the ball. But I think from a Spanish point of view, it's that clinical edge, just that final pass, that final end product. And, you know, for Portugal, I feel like, you know, it has been a bit cat and mouse. You know, they've used the wide areas quite well, but it's getting the balls into the box in the right areas as well. And for Spain, I think, Yamal's done really well stretching the pitch, which has then opened up the pockets of space for Olmo. He's got lovely spaces, and Pedri as well, pockets of space. Just doing that a little bit more and just stretching the Portuguese back line. They want to be on the ball. They want to be moving the ball, which they've done against Croatia. I thought they'd have more tempo and more intensity, and I think maybe second half that's what we'll see.
And is some of that, as you just alluded to there, Cesar, what Ellen said about the kind of cat and mouse with the fullbacks from Portugal?
Yeah, I think Portugal, if they want to have a chance to stretch Spain and to offer something different, here we can see the example that Mendes plays straight to Cancelo. So now Mendes spots Lamine Yamal position, so he has to stay back. Cancelo finished with a shot. They want to take Nuno Mendes' position.
It's a risk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a big risk to leave Yamal like that, and I think that's the organisation when you're in possession for Portugal that they have to get right, because if they don't, sooner or later they're going to get punished. Where
are Spain's best chances coming from then, Ellen?
I think for me it's actually been, central in field when they're using Olmo in those pockets of space, Pedri, Bina as well, and then it's getting into the box. It's that final product, and when they've really stretched the back line, those pockets have really opened up. It's been really exciting. Oyarzabal had a huge chance, a huge opportunity. And when they press and get numbers around the ball and win the ball in that central areas, then they're stretching the ball, then there's pockets open. It's a beautiful run from Oyarzabal, but then I think he thought he was offside. I think he snatched at the chance. He's been cool, calm and collected in the previous games. He just needed that clinical edge, and that would have completely transformed the first half as well.
That was so early on in the half as well.
And I think, that kind of, took them by surprise a little bit, and I think they were frustrated. Yamal on this right-hand side has been brilliant when he's been able to get the space and be on the ball, and this is the chance we obviously saw, and it's a brilliant save. Just the way that he gets it onto his left foot. It's probably quite an easy and comfortable save, but this one is just unbelievable. Probably didn't get quite enough height on it, but it's a lovely save. But when they've had those opportunities, it's just that final product, that final end product. And this one from Olmo, it's a lovely run. He's just holding his position, and then Pedri, we see here, what a ball. And it's just that final, can you just really kind of commit to that chance? Can you really throw yourself at the ball? But yeah, you see he's got beautiful space here, Pedri, and then you've got numbers in the box, Oyarzabal, and then also Olmo he just couldn't quite get that contact. But the chances are there, and I think they're creating them. It's just that final bit.
Of course, we've all been on a little bit of Ronaldo watch and working out where he could be most effective. I'll give you his numbers. No chances created, no dribbles, 2 shots on targets, but just 12 touches. And actually, we were going to have a look, and we will do that in a second, at the great Simon moment, a save, a rather dramatic but very good save. But actually, you asked to pull it back a little bit because you've seen where Portugal perhaps could get Ronaldo in a bit more.
Yeah, I don't think we'd expect him to have, 100 touches a game. We know what his game is. His game has been in the box. But if you look at him here, if you're playing Cristiano Ronaldo, you have to use him. And still, one of his big strengths is heading the ball and being in the box and being in the middle of the goal. And here, I think the ball could have went into the box there, where he's 1v1. It could go into the box here from Bruno. But they refused to put it in. So I think if you're playing him, you have to use him, because this is still a big threat. This and set pieces is still he's still a massive threat for Portugal. The ball comes in the box, and now this is just instinctive. He does really well to get the connection and get the ball going back towards the goal. So he's unlucky here. But I just think for Portugal, if Ronaldo's playing, you have to play to his strength, and his strength is not giving him the ball 30 yards from goal anymore. It's getting it into the penalty area where he can still be effective, and I think they can do it a little bit earlier, which will give him a better chance of scoring.
I can just hear Joe Hart saying Hollywood save, because it looks so incredible, doesn't it? And that extends his World Cup run of not conceding to 564 minutes.
Amazing. Hopefully he keeps going.
Yeah, well, he'll be hoping so, but he came very close there, didn't he, to actually concede. Both goalkeepers actually have had their moments.
Yeah, they had their moments, and just adding to Wayne's point about Cristiano and the crosses, I think it will help him if they have more bodies in the box. Yeah. Like the one you mentioned, Bruno was on the ball, but just was himself in the box. And as soon as Joao Felix came a bit to occupy the second post, then I think he has more chances. So,
but I think that comes from Portugal imposing themselves a little bit more and having more possession in Spain's half, more control of the game. If they do that, it allows players to get a little bit close to him, and then the runs into the penalty box are not as big. At the minute, with Spain having a bit more possession, Portugal are trying to get there a bit in a rush, and then the run for the midfield players or the wide players to get in the box and support them is a little bit longer, so it makes it a little bit more difficult.
are really important for him, and obviously they could make changes in the second. Leao was brilliant in the previous game, and something different, and he loves to cross the ball. He done a wonderful cross for Ramos's goal, so maybe something different to mix it up in the second half as well.
OK, time now then to remind you of all the content available across the